Hello everyone and welcome back to Hero Sports World once again, and we are now just a few hours away from UFC 274, and this is basically just a quick preview video that I wanted to make surrounding the main event that we have in store for tomorrow, especially considering the insane turn of events that occurred last night with Charles Oliveira missing weight, and now that he's set to vacate the UFC Lightweight Championship once his fight against Justin Gaethje starts tomorrow night. So yeah, without any further ado, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the new video. Okay, so first of all, let me start by saying this. What happened last night with Charles Oliveira missing weight was nothing short of historic. I mean, it was the first time a champion lost a title during the weigh-ins, which is just absolutely incredible if you think about it. And now that Oliveira has missed weight, the whole dynamic regarding tomorrow's fight has changed completely. Initially, I honestly thought Oliveira was absolutely going to run through Justin Gaethje in their fight tomorrow night, almost in a similar fashion he did against Dustin Poirier in the last fight. But now I'm not really that confident regarding a win for Oliveira. And just to be clear, I'm still backing him to walk out with the win here. But the fact that this man knows that he has to give up on the title once the fight begins tomorrow is definitely going to affect him mentally. And the big question here that remains to be answered is, will this play a big role in tomorrow's fight? And will this completely change the fight in favor of Justin Gaethje? I mean, I know all these guys are professionals, but at the end of the day, when you're Charles Oliveira and you know for a fact that you have to give up on the world title in such a fashion, a world title that you have that you have worked so hard for is definitely going to sting a lot. Now, look at Oliveira's journey in the UFC, leading up to his rise in the lightweight division and leading up to his win against Michael Chandler at UFC 262. He had to obviously overcome so many adversities in order to win that world championship. So now, personally, I'll be very curious to find out how Oliveira is going to approach this fight and what his mindset is like heading into tomorrow's fight. And if you ask me, personally, I feel that the balance might have shifted a little bit more towards Justin Gaethje now. He knows that not only does he get to beat Charles Oliveira, but he's the only one eligible to win the belt tomorrow. So there has to be that extra bit of motivation and hunger in him now. And to be very honest, I didn't think I was going to make an assessment as such, but now with Oliveira missing weight, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fight similar to Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson. Not stylistically, but in terms of the shock factor, like Gaethje absolutely ran through Ferguson in their fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls off something similar against Oliveira tomorrow. But of course, at the end of the day, I'm basing all of this simply on the fact that Oliveira has missed weight and how he will mentally approach this fight. Now, moving on to the second scenario of this fight, let's just say Charles Oliveira comes in full preparation as he initially planned on doing before missing weight. Let's just say Oliveira doesn't allow the weight miss to hamper him mentally. So, what happens then? In that case, I'll be absolutely confident of a victory for the Bronx here. I feel we could see a replication of the Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier fight because despite all his wrestling credentials, we still haven't seen Justin Gaethje showcase his skills on the mat, and that is why I think he's going to struggle big time when Oliveira decides to take this fight to the ground, much like Gaethje did against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, there is also a possibility of Oliveira trying to engage with Gaethje while standing up and turn this into more of a striking battle. We saw him do something similar with Michael Chandler when he walked right into the middle and kept pressuring forward and tried to engage while standing up. But let's not forget that nearly cost Oliveira the fight against Chandler when he got dropped in that first round itself. So keeping that in mind, I don't think Oliveira is going to make the mistake of standing up and trading with Gaethje. I think he will aim to go for the shoot. He will take this fight to the ground, and I just personally think Gaethje isn't very resilient on the mat, especially against grapplers of such high level, the likes of Oliveira and Khabib. So yeah, basically, I have two scenarios for this fight. The first one is obviously Oliveira's mentality, how different he must be feeling right now, knowing that he has to give up his title tomorrow, and will that cost him the fight? The second one is, if Oliveira has that bulletproof mentality, he's definitely going to get his hand raised. I think he will stick to his game plan in that case. I don't think he's going to panic and try and switch up his style to make a statement, knowing that he has missed weight. Rather, we're going to see him stick to his natural style of fighting and eventually use his brilliant grappling and BJJ to get the job done. One last factor I would also like to point out is Oliveira's physical condition heading into this fight. I mean, he looked absolutely drained at the weigh-ins, so let's just hope that that doesn't take a toll on his body tomorrow, and we get both fighters at their absolute best. But yeah, a victory for Oliveira here will mean that he's going to be the new number one contender for the lightweight title. And honestly, there is only one sensible opponent for him from here onwards, and that is the winner of a potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Benil Dariush. The UFC has to rebook that fight at some point down the line, and I think it's either of those two men who will be fighting for the belt next if Oliveira wins tomorrow. Whereas in case Justin Gaethje walks out with the win, I think Oliveira will have to secure a win or two before fighting for the title once again, and Gaethje instead goes on to defend the title against Islam or Benil. But nonetheless, we have all the right reasons in the world to be absolutely hyped up for yet another stacked UFC pay-per-view and an incredible main event that we have in store for tomorrow. In addition to the co-main event between Thug Rose and Carla Esparza, and of course the people's main event between Tory Ferguson and Michael Chandler, the fight that everyone seems to be talking about. So yeah, for final predictions for this main card, I have Charles Oliveira winning the main event, Rose Namajunas retaining the strawweight title in the co-main event. I feel Michael Chandler is going to get it done against Tony Ferguson, and I think OSP and Joe Loswan get it done respectively in their fights. And yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. Really curious to tune in for tomorrow's main event and for tomorrow's pay-per-view in general. I'll see you guys in the next video after UFC 274. Thanks for watching.